your eyes. Namaskar to everyone. Thank you, Chandrasekhar, for beautiful prayer. We are in chapter 8. Which shloka we have to go? Can you tell me?
To start 18, Guru.
Yeah. Avyakta vyakte sarva prabhavante haragame ratragame praliyante tatraiva vyakta sankhya. In Brahma's night, every living being goes back to his koshavastha. That is to say, the bijavastha, like a seed. He gets back to his seed form. When the days come, slowly they wake up. We have this experience every day once. When we go to sleep, we are not there at all. Neither you are there, nor your family members are there, not the external world is there. Everything is not there at all. And when we wake, all things begin to come one after another. You can see wonderful things on earth. I am from a rural area where there are paddy plants. You will hear frogs making such a lot of sounds. If you happen to go there, you would like to run away from that place. That big sounds will be there in rainy areas. In rainy season, frogs. What happens to them when they are when it becomes summer? They all get back to that farm. For 6 months, they will be lying under the earth. When the rain comes in, again they come back. That is exactly what happens to us also according to this concept. At Brahma's avyakta vyakta sarya pravatya ragami. We all come to be vyakta form, seeable form, from unseeable form when it becomes day. And what will happen to us when it becomes night? Ratragame priliyante vyaktaiva tatraiva vyakta sankhya. When it becomes night again, we will also go back to that condition of where we do not know what we are. Very practical example Krishna has been giving, or as it is in Shastra, Krishna is explaining us. It is just like going to sleep and coming up again. Our rebirth and cycle of birth and life will be like that. Avyakta vyaktaya sarvaha pravon dharagame. Everything comes out of this avyakta form to vyakta form when it becomes day. And the opposite happens when it becomes Brahma's night. How long is the Brahma's night? You know. 1000 Chaturayugas will be one night for Brahma. So that's a very big koshavastha that we get into when Brahma's night comes. And in daytime, we come up. And living beings have to live. As we would go to sleep and come wake again, same thing happens with Brahma's night and day. That is what he is explaining with this shloka. I think we can recite. Avyakta vyaktayat sarvaha.
Avyakta vyaktayat sarvaha.
Prabhavantyah ragame.
Prabhavantyah ragame.
Ratragame praliyante.
Ratragame praliyante.
Tatraiva vyakta sanyake.
Tatraiva vyakta samjnake.
Avyakta vyaktayat sarvaha.
Avyakta vyaktayat sarvaha.
Prabhavantyah ragame.
Prabhavantyah ragame.
Ratragame praliyante.
Ratragame praliyante.
Tatraiva vyakta sanyake.
Tatraiva vyakta samjnake.
Same point he explains in the next shloka also. Bhutagramasya evayam bhutva praliyate ratragame avashapartha pravatyaragame. All living beings, including plants and other things. Whatever we can see alive, all these things will go to that that state of sleep in Brahma's night, and they will all come one after another when Brahma's day begins. Bhutagrama Sayavayam, group of beings, will all repeat the same thing, repeatedly come into being and go to that state of Koshavastha or Bijavastha. That's what happens in the night of Brahma. Again, he is explaining what he said in the Shloka 18, so we can recite, I hope. Bhutagramasya evayam
भूतग्रामस्य एवायम्
bhutva praliyate
भूत्वा प्रलीयते
ratragame avashah partha
रात्र्यागमे वशः पार्थ
pravotyharagame
प्रभवत्यहरागमे
bhutagramasya evayam
भूतग्रामस्य एवायम्
bhutva praliyate
भूत्वा प्रलीयते
ratragame avashah partha
रात्र्यागमे अवशः पार्थ
prabhavatyharagame.
प्रभवत्यहरागमे.
Continuing this Srishti and Laya process. Parastasmastu bhavanyo avyakto vyaktas sanatana. When we are sleeping, isn't our self awake? If it is not awake, we cannot come back to our form. Same thing happens here also. Parastasmastu bhavanyo avyakto vyaktas. Everything goes to sleep. That cosmic consciousness will be awake even then. Yes, sarveshu bhuteshu nasyatsu namish. When all things go to sleep mode, he will be awake, he will be awake, he will be awake. He will be awake in our day, he will be awake in your night. That is what is we call cosmic consciousness or God. Parastasmastu bhavanyo. There is one thing beyond this Vyakta and Avyakta, that is what Krishna is saying. That is, which is awake when all beings go to sleep, which is also awake when all beings come back to life. So that is what is to be searched for. Parastasmastu bhavanyo avyakto vyaktas sanatana. There is also a unmanifest which existent eternal. So it existed when you were asleep, which existed when you were awake, as it happens in our daily life of going to sleep and coming back. Then also the self was there, the Atman was there. Therefore, we could come back to our status. Yes, sarveshu bhuteshu nasya. Underline the second line. When all living beings disappear, that will still remain. That will still be awake. That will still be awake. Parastas, yes, sarveshu bhuteshu. When all living beings disappear, that is, go to Koshavastha, that will be awake. So that is what we have been calling cosmic consciousness or God, or this, what is to be called, God or whatever you call by them, that spirit. I think we can recite. Parastasmastu bhavonyaha
परस्तस्मात्तु भावोऽन्यः
avyakto vyakta sanatanaha
अव्यक्तो व्यक्तः सनातनः
yassa sarveshu bhuteshu
यस्य सर्वेषु भूतेषु
nashyatsu na vinashyati
अस्यत्वो विनश्यति
parastasmastu bhavonyo
परस्तस्मात्तु भावोऽन्यः
avyakto vyakta sanatanaha
व्यक्तो व्यक्तः सनातनः
yassa sarveshu bhuteshu
यस्य सर्वेषु भूतेषु
nashyatsu na vinashyati.
अस्यत्वो विनश्यति.
That avyakto akshara ityukta tamaho paramam gatim. What is the ultimate goal of all living being is to reach that which is awake all time. Avyakto Akshara Ityukta. That is called Avyakta Akshara. That's why this chapter is called Akshara Brahma Yoga. That Akshara is the cosmic consciousness. That Akshara is the God, whatever you call it. Avyakto Akshara Ityukta Paramamgati. That is the Paramagati, means that is the point to be reached by a man who is a Mukta. Muktas will be going out from the cycle of birth and death and get back to his original status. That is what is called Avyakto Akshara Ityuktaha Tamahu Paramamgatim. That is said to be Paramagati, ultimate goal of life. Yam Prapya Nanivartante Taddavapur. Underline that one. That's a beautiful line. After having reached that, you won't return to this birth and death cycle. That is the Taddama Paramam Mama. That is my highest place of staying. That is the highest state of this cosmic consciousness. Avyakto Akshara Ityuktaha Tamahu Paramagatim. That is said, Tamahu means it is said to be Paramagati, end point of every living to reach for liberation. That place is that, the quality of that place is like this. Yam Prapya Nanivartante. Having reached there where we do not come back, Taddama Paramamama. That is my highest place. That is the highest place to be reached by all people who complete their cycle of birth and death, or who get moksha. That is where we say all our seers reach. Whether Shankara, Ramakrishna, Ramana Maharshi, all acharyas, Shankara, Ramanuja, Madhva, and so on, we say that they reach that state. And where they need not come again. That is the highest state. This is an interesting shloka you can underline. What would happen to us when we get liberated is, we go back to our houses. We have come here to make a living. We get back to our parental home. That is the moksha point. We reach there. And that's the end of the cycle of birth and death. I think we can visit. Avyakto Akshara Yutyuktaha
Avyakto Akshara Ityuktaha
Tamahu Paramam Gatim
Tamahu Paramam Gatim
Yam Prapya Nanivartante
Yam Prapya Nanivartante
Taddama Paramam Mama.
Taddhama Paramam Mama.
Avyakto Akshara Ityuktaha
Avyakto Akshara Ityuktaha
Tamahu Paramam Gatim
Tamahu Paramam Gatim
Yam Prapya Nanivartante
Yam Prapya Nanivartante
Taddama Paramam Mama.
Taddhama Paramam Mama.
How do we reach that state? What are we to do? Krishna never says anything without giving an answer to the question. Immediate next he says, how can we reach that highest state? Taddama Paramam Mama. How can we reach that Paramam Mama state? That is the highest of cosmic consciousness state. Purushassa Parapartha Bhaktya Labhyastananya. That can be had by Ananya Bhakti. Bhaktya Labhyastananya. And underline that Bhaktya Labhyastananya. This is the first time it is said to Bhakti is used in Bhagavad Gita. Bhaktya Labhyastananya. He is reachable with the highest devotion. Ananya Bhakti. There is nothing other than cosmic consciousness. You have got a belief and you have a confirmation about that. You see that, you return to it. Purushassa Parapartha Bhaktya Labhyastananya. That Purusha will be reached by Ananya Bhakti, the highest form of Bhakti. Yasyantastani Bhutani Yena Sarvamidam Tatam. And all livings end is the end point. Mukti is the end point for all living. The one in whom all livings have their beings, the one by whom all this is prevailed, that is the highest state. Purushastha Parapartha Bhaktya Labhyastananya. That Purusha can be reached with highest devotion. Yasyantastani Bhutani Yena Sarvamani. From whom this has appeared, and we will get back to that original form, which is Taddama Paramamama. That is the state we say our great seers reach. And that also can be reached by Ananya Bhakti. That is what is the message of Krishna to Arjuna in the war field. We should never forget that Krishna is advising Arjuna in the war field. If we forget, we will misunderstand Bhagavad Gita. It is to be, Gita must be on our workplace. Should we fear our death? No. We must know what is death is. We must know how to face it, but still live till the last breath is there, a satisfactory life. I'm going to die, I may not be there. So that depression is not what is advised by Krishna. Have a knowledge of that. Usually, I am told in psychiatry, man feels a fear of death when he reaches around 40. I may die sometimes. Krishna says you need not have that fear. The end is very natural. All things have ended. You will be one among them. Take it easy. And not only he says, take it easy, here is a way to reach that in a better way. He said, Omityekaksharam Brahman Vyaharanma Manusparam Nyaprayati Tajam Deham Sayati Paramangati. Saying Om, whoever leaves the body, he said many things. Kavim Purana, Manushasitara, which you all know. I have asked you to put in bracket those 4 or 5 shlokas. Wonderful. Saying that one who leaves the body reaches that highest. So he says that will be reached by a man who is dedicated, who has highest form of bhakti. Bhaktya labhyastananya. I am reachable by that bhakti, he says. I think we can recite. Purushastha parah partha.
Purushastha para partha.
Bhaktya labhyastananya.
Bhaktya labhyastananyaya.
Yasyantastani bhutani.
Yasyantastani bhutani.
Yena sarvamidam tatam.
Yena sarvamidam tatam.
Purushastha parah partha.
Purushastha para partha.
Bhaktya labhyastananya.
Bhaktya labhyastananyaya.
Yasyantastani bhutani.
Yasyantastani bhutani.
Yena sarvamidam tatam.
Yena sarvamidam tatam.
And there is a concept in Indian spiritual or Indian Vedas and our literature. There are 2 ways men or living beings will go back to. Yatra kale tanavartim avartim cha yoginah prayatayanti takkalam mokshami bhartashva. He is speaking about the time of death. What will happen to yogis when they die at a particular time, when they die at the other time? There are 2 ways that is called. And one way, they will be coming back, even yogis. The other way, they will be going back to that cosmic consciousness. Taddama Param. They will read the Taddama Paramamama, which he said in shloka number 21. So, dying at a particular time, one will reach that Taddama Paramamama. And dying at other time, which he says in the next 2 shlokas, will have to be reborn or go to the moon, come back and wait for his time and get liberated, as in the case of Bhishma. Bhishma fell back in the war field. But that was Dakshinayana when he fell. He had a boon of Icha Marana. That is, he wouldn't die unless he feels he should. He waited on the bed of arrows Imagine the pain that he might have had. And he waited till Uttarayana came. A good day came. And Krishna came to see him on a particular day. He asked Krishna to look at him. He thought his life was sufficient. He left his body, merged back in Krishna. He asked Krishna to look at him, and then he left his body. So that is what happens. Those are the two times concept we have got. Even now, people practice this one. If a man dies, they will ask, what day he died? Was it new moon days or full moon days? Was it day or night? And so on. There are many questions. Was it Uttarayana or Dakshinayana? All those things are asked. Those concepts Krishna mentions us before he gives his own judgment. Yatra kale tvanavrittim avrittim cha yoginah prayatayanti tankalam vakshami Bhartarshava. I will tell you, Bhartarshava is Arjuna. I will tell you, Arjuna, when people depart, they will come back. When yogis depart, they will come back. What is the time yogis depart and they do not come back? I will tell you both the times. The time when the time of departure, if it is a particular time, they will come back. Yogis also. There is a time when yogis depart, they won't come back. I will tell you about these two times. He says he did not say anything in this shloka, so we can recite. Yatra kale dhanavrittim.
Yatra kale dhanavrittim.
Avrittim chaiva yoginah.
Avrittim chaiva yoginah.
Prayatayanti tankalam.
Prayanti tam kalam.
Vakshami Bhartarshava.
Vakshami Bhartarshava.
Yatra kale dhanavrittim.
Yatra kale dhanavrittim.
Avrittim chaiva yoginah.
Avrittim chaiva yoginah.
Prayatayanti tankalam.
Prayatayati tam kalam.
Vakshami Bhartarshava.
Vakshami Bhartarshava.
Remember, Krishna is speaking about yogis in this shloka. Yatra kale tvanavrittim. When they die, they do not come. And next one, avrittim chaiva yoginah. When the yogis die, they come back. That I will tell you. I will tell you the concept that is there in our Shastras. I will tell you that is only for yogis. And he is mentioning the time that is there in the Shastras. I am saying that is there in the Shastras because Krishna has a different opinion here. You have to be, you will be surprised to listen what Krishna says about this. Agni Jyoti Rahashuklaha Shanmasa Uttarayanam. In the presence of fire, Agni, Jyoti, light, when there is light, Aha, when it is day, note that Agni, fire, Jyoti, light, Aha, day, Shukla, Shukla Paksha, when moon is becoming brighter and brighter after Amavasya, and Shanmasa Uttarayana, and the Uttarayana, 6 months of Uttarayana. Tatra prayata gachanti brahma brahma vidojana. If yogis die in this time, they will not return. If we make it a common thing, even a murderer dies in a Uttarayana and all these things are there, we have to say he is liberated. He doesn't say that. It's only for yogis he speaks about. Yogi, when he dies in this condition, Agni Jyoti Rahashukla Shanmasa Uttarayana. When all these things are present, or many of them are present, if a yogi leaves his body, he will get back to Brahman once again. His cycle of birth and deaths are completed. He will get Taddama Paramamama. He will come to that my highest state, which he said in the previous shloka. He will reach my state. Agni, Jyoti, Raha, Shukla, Shanmasa Uttarayana. 6 months of Uttarayana. Tatra prayata gachanti brahma brahma. Even now, the common practice among the Hindus is that immediately they will say, what was the time of death? What day was it? Was it a Sunday or Monday? Was it a Tuesday or Friday? So on. And we have so many beliefs about the death. And we have also, if he had died on that day, he will be coming back in the other form. If he dies on some other time, he will be liberated. That is what every Hindu, a little about Shastras will think about it. That is what Krishna is mentioning to us. Agni Jyoti Rahashuklaha. Agni, Jyoti, light, day, Shukla Paksha, which you all know, I think all language people will be able to understand it. Shanmasa Uttarayana. 6 months of Uttarayana. Sun is going towards the north. Tatra prayata gachanti brahma brahma vidodhana. So the yogis who die there will come back to Brahman. That is the belief in our Shastras. Krishna mentions to us. I think we can recite. Agni Jyotirah Shuklaha
Agni Jyotirah Shuklaha
Janmasa Uttarayanam
Janmasa Uttarayanam
Tatra Prayata Gachanti
Tatra Prayasa Gachanti
Brahma Brahma Vido Janaha
Brahma Brahmavido Janaha
Agni Jyotirah Shuklaha
Agni Jyotirah Shuklaha
Janmasa Uttarayanam
Janmasa Uttarayanam
Tatra Prayata Gachanti
Tatra Prayasa Gachanti
Brahma Brahma Vido Janaha.
Brahma Brahmavido Janaha.
You underline, you put in bracket these two shlokas, the 24th and 25th. This is a common belief among us. And then, Dumoratris Tata Krishna Shanmasa Dakshinayana. The opposite of what is said in 24th. When there is smoke, darkness, Krishna Paksha, Dakshinayana. The sun is on the southern hemisphere. Tatra Chandramasam Jyoti Yogi Prapti. What would happen to Yogi if he dies in this time? He will go to the moon, spend the time, and come back again, wait for the Uttarayana, and leave his body. That is the concept that is there. Tatra Chandramasam Jyoti Yogi Prapti Nivartate. A yogi who dies in this time, which one? Duma, Ratri, Tata Krishna, Shanmasa Dakshinayana. Opposite of what is said in shloka number 24. That was day, that was light, that was Shukla, that was Uttarayana. This is smoke, night, Krishna Paksha, and Dakshinayana. If a yogi dies in this time, Tatra Chandramasam Yogi Jyoti Yogi Prapti Nivartate. Yogi will go to his Atman will be there in moon, and he will come again and get liberated in the, as he said in the 24th shloka. Like Bhishma, they will come. If it is Dakshinayana, they will stay there. And then when Uttarayana comes, they will depart. That is what is the concept which Krishna is trying to give us. I think we can recite. Dhumo ratris tata Krishnaha
Dhumo Ratris Tata Krishnaha
Janmasa Dakshinayanam
Janmasa Dakshinayanam
Tatra Chandramasam Jyoti
Tatra Chandramasam Jyoti
Yogi Prapya Nivartate.
Yogi Prapti Nivartate.
Dhumo ratris tata Krishnaha
Dhumo Ratris Tata Krishnaha
Janmasa Dakshinayanam
Janmasa Dakshinayanam
Tatra Chandramasam Jyoti
Tatra Chandramasam Jyoti
Yogi Prapya Nivartate.
Yogi Prapti Nivartate.
So these are the very two popular ways believed by our culture. Shukla Krishna Gati Hete Jagata Shashvate Mate. In Shastras, this is said to be very popular form. Shukla, Krishna, these ones are very parts of the world, two parts of the world. Ekaya Tyanavruti Anyaya Vartate Puna. Look here, he simplified everything. Going at the time of Shloka 24, that is Agni Jyotila Shukla, yogi will not return. Going in the second one, as per the Shloka 25, his Atman will be there in the moon and he will have to return and again depart when the time said in the 24 appears. Shukla Krishna Gatiyete Jagata Shashvate. As well as is well known in the Shastras, these two parts of the world, bright and the dark, are considered eternal. They are said to be eternal in the Shastras. By the one path, one goes to a place of no return. By the other, one has to return. So if you go along this route, you will come back to where you were. If you go along this route, you will never come back. You will disappear into that cosmic consciousness. Those are the two paths. He is summarizing what he said in Shloka number 24 and 25 and 26. I think we can recite. Shukla Krishna Gati Hete
Shukla Krishna Gati Hete
Jagata Shashvate Mate
Jagata Shashvate Mate
Ekayaya Tyanavrutim
Ekayaya Tyanavrittim
Anyaya Vartate Punaha Anyaya Vartate Punaha
Anyaya Vartate Punaha
Shukla Krishna Gati Hete
Shukla Krishna Gati Hete
Jagata Shashvate Mate
Jagata Shashvate Mate
Ekayaya Tyanavrutim
Ekayaya Tyanavrittim
Anyaya Vartate Punaha.
Anyaya Vartate Punaha.
After saying these two ways, Krishna gives his judgment about it. Should we be worried whether it is Shukla Paksha or Krishna Paksha when we leave our body? A beautiful suggestion is given by Krishna for those people who come to Bhagavad Gita. Naite Smriti Parthajanan Yogi Mukhyata Kasyana. Yogi is not disturbed by these two paths at all. What Paksha it is not important for him, whether it is Uttarayana or Dakshinayana, not interesting for him. Whether he is satisfied, having offered all things that he has done and cleared himself totally to get back to that cosmic consciousness. Naite Smriti Parthajanan Yogi Mukhyati Kasyana. Yogi should not be bothered by these two ways, Shukla Paksha and Krishna Paksha, where we return, where we do not. That should not be a point of worry for a yogi. Yogis are above these two pakshas. Therefore, Krishna says, underline that, it's a wonderful statement, Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Yoga Yukto Bhavatna. Live like a yogi. Don't worry whether it is Shukla or Krishna. When you leave the body, don't worry about those points. A yogi should not be worried about it, whether it is Shukla. When the time comes, we will go. Yama doesn't care whether it is Shukla or Krishna when he takes us. So yogi must be prepared for death anytime without worry. Therefore, he says, Tasma Sarveshu Kaleshu Yoga Yukto Bhavatna. At all times be a yogi. The greatest thing, Krishna is advising Arjuna to be a yogi, and he is advised to us also to be trying to be yogis. Trying to be yogis, I say, not yogis. We are on the path to reach. I don't know whether we reach it or not. Anyway, it's our duty to understand what he says. Yogis should not be bothered what time it is when he leaves the body, because he leaves the body saying, Om Ityekaksharam Brahman Vyaharan Maman Swaram Yaprayati Tejam Deyam Sayati Paramam Gati. If he has that ability to say Omkar and leave his life, body, he will come to me, he said. That doesn't prohibit us from reaching that goal, whether it is Uttarayana or Dakshinayana, we will reach. Therefore, yogi should not be bothered. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukto bhavatana. Therefore, be a yogi, Arjuna. Don't worry whether it is Shukla Paksha or Krishna Paksha, whether I come back, whether I do not come back. Nothing of that is your point. Be a yogi and do your duty to the best of your ability. Offer at my feet. Be relaxed, absolutely relaxed, even at the time of death. Krishna is teaching Arjuna to be tension-free even at the time of war. And to us also, same lesson he is trying to impart. Naite smriti partha janan. Yogi is not confused with this. Yogi mukhyati kasyana. Yogi should not get into confusion with this. Whether it is Uttarayana, whether it is Dakshinayana, whether it is day, whether it is night, whether there is Agni, whether there is no Agni, whether there is smoke, whether there is a clear day, nothing doing. Yogi must be a yogi. Therefore, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukto bhavatana. All times be a yogi, Arjuna. That is the highest a man can reach. That is what the training Krishna has been giving to Arjuna, to be a yogi. Not that he is not interested in the world. He does everything that is necessary for him to do as a person in this situation. Offers back everything at the feet of God and absolutely relaxed, as if he didn't do anything. I remember that shloka. Naiva kinchit karomi iti yukto manyata tatvet pashyan shunvan sprishan jigran. I think that was in the 7th and the 8th shloka, 5th chapter. So, be relaxed. Gunas did all that. You are not the doer. Gunas do the actions. You are the pure watcher of everything that's going on in you also. I watch what's going on in me. You watch. Be an observer, not a doer. Actions will go on according to the duty. I told you. Even plants have a sense of, they have a brain somewhere. I gave you the example of a creeper. How it holds a thing that comes near it with its, what's called tentacles. I don't know what you call in biology. So we can see the creeper climbing a small, holding. Who told it to hold? Where was the brain for it? Everything in this is in the seeds. So what all we have done is already there in us to do. And we have been doing. Be a yogi. Be a seer, not a doer. Doing everything is done by the gunas. That's what he said. Guna guneshu vartanta iti matvana sajjate. Gunas are acting according to gunas, saying so, don't be attached. And that not being attached to any of those things makes you a yogi. Therefore, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukto bhavatana. One of the greatest lines that you can find in Bhagavad Gita, a suggestion given to a man to live a life of a yogi, doing all things he is born to do without worrying at all about anything. Do it, whatever you are expected to do, offer back to Krishna, be relaxed. That's a yogi. He did all things for Lok Sangraha. He did everything for Atma Shuddhi. He did everything like Padma Patra Mevamasa. We have been seeing whatever Krishna has said to us to do the work like. And that man is a yogi. And whatever he has done, offered at the feet of God. Yajna Shishta. We had it in 3. All the things that we have is the Yajna Shishta for us. We did something, result came. We accepted whatever God has given. That's Yajna Shishta. So that man is a yogi. Therefore, Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Yoga Yukto Bhavartana. Therefore, be a yogi, Arjuna, at every time. All times be a yogi. The highest teaching Krishna gives to Arjuna and to each one of us listeners. Try to be doing your duty, being relaxed, offer it back at the feet of God. Free, be absolutely free. Naite smriti parthajanan yogi mukhita. Yogi should not get into confusion whether it is Uttarayana, Dakshinayana, and so on. Therefore, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukto bhavatna. All times be a yogi, Arjuna. That is what is said to Arjuna. Let us recite. Naite sruti parthajanan
Nite Sruti Partha Janan
yogi muhyate kasyana
Yogi Mushyati Kaschana
tasmat sarveshu kaleshu
Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu
yoga yukto bhavarjuna.
Yoga Yukto Bhavarjuna
Naite sruti parthajanan
Nite Sruti Partha Janan
yogi muhyate kasyana
Yogi Mushyati Kaschana
tasmat sarveshu kaleshu
Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu
yoga yukto bhavarjuna.
Yoga Yukto Bhavarjuna.
And the next shloka explains what is the status of a yogi. Where does the yogi stand? Vedeshu yajna. This is one of the best shlokas in Bhagavad Gita, which I feel. Vedeshu yajneshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punya palam pradishtam. If you read Veda, there is some pala, punya pala is there. If you do yajna, there is some punya pala. If you do a lot of tapas, there is punya pala. If you give everything that you have earned to somebody before you leave, that will also give punya pala. That is, we will gain the merit of those things. Highest is atyeti satsarvamidam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti chatyam. So yogi is better than who reads Vedas. Yogi is better than who does lot of yajnas. Yogi is the best, he is many times better than man does tapas. Yogi is better than a man who gives everything that he has before he departs the body. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukto bhavartana. Coming back to the previous shlokas line. Therefore, at our time, be a yogi. Atyeti tatsarvamidam viditva. He will go beyond all this. Beyond the, he will reach beyond what position reached by man who has read Vedas all his life, man who has done yajna all his life, man who has done tapas all his life, man who has donated everything that he has earned in his life to others before he departed. The better than all this person is a yogi. Therefore, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukto bhavartana. What a beautiful statement. Be a yogi. Wherever you are, do your duties, which you are expected to do. Offer back at the feet of God. Be relaxed. Be a yogi. Arjuna has to fight the war. Fight it. Offer back to Krishna. Relax. Therefore, the highest is to be a yogi for Krishna. This is one of the best shlokas that I consider in Bhagavad Gita. You are better than man who reads Veda. You are better than a man who does lot of yajna. You are better than man who does lot of tapas. You are better than the person who gives all that he has earned before he dies. Therefore, be a yogi and don't be disturbed. Tasmat, he goes beyond these ones, not equivalent. Beyond this, therefore, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukto bhavat. Every time I am getting to the second line of 20 shloka number 27, I think you are all getting it. That is what Krishna has been saying to each listener of Bhagavad Gita. Be a yogi, do your duties. Where you are, be relaxed. Offer it back to the God. You are better than man who reads Veda. Man who does yajna, man who does tapas, man who do everything, give everything in dana before he dies. Therefore, be a yogi and fight your battle. We are also to fight our battle. There are two battles which I told you. One is the inner battle that we have been fighting. One is the external battle that we are fighting. Be a yogi in fighting your inner battle. Be a yogi in fighting your external battle. External battle is what we have to do in our life. Inner is controlling our senses. It's a war going on inside us. And be a yogi like that. You are better than every other person said to be great. Said to be great. I think we can recite. Vedeshu yajneshu tapassu chaiva
वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपस्सु चैव
दानेषु यत् पुण्यफलं प्रदिष्टम्
दानेषु यत्पुण्यफलं प्रदिष्टम्
अत्येति तत्सर्वमिदं विदित्वा
अत्येति तत्सर्वमिदं विदित्वा
योगी परं स्थानमुपैति चाद्यम्
योगी परं स्थानमुपैति चाद्यम्
वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपस्सु चैव
वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपस्सु चैव
दानेषु यत् पुण्यफलं प्रदिष्टम्
दानेषु यत्पुण्यफलं प्रदिष्टम्
अत्येति तत्सर्वमिदं विदित्वा
अत्येति तत्सर्वमिदं विदित्वा
योगी परं स्थानमुपैति चाद्यम्
योगी परं स्थानमुपैति चाद्यम्
ॐ तत्सदिति
ॐ तत्सदिति
श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु
श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु
उपनिषत्सु
उपनिषत्सु
ब्रह्मविद्यायां
ब्रह्मविद्यायां
योगशास्त्रे
योगशास्त्रे
श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे
श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे
अक्षरब्रह्मयोगो नाम
अक्षरब्रह्मयोगो नाम
अष्टमोऽध्यायः।
अष्टमोऽध्यायः।
हरिः ओं तत्सत्।
हरिः ओं तत्सत्।
हरिः ओं तत्सत्।
हरिः ओं तत्सत्।
हरिः ओं तत्सत्। सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।
हरिः ओं तत्सत्। सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।
Tomorrow you will get an opportunity